Okay, imagine a battlefield for a second. But the soldiers, the ones making the split-second life or death decisions, they're not human anymore. They're algorithms, and the war itself is being fought at a speed that no human brain could possibly keep up with. Now, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie. This is the new reality of warfare, and it's getting here a whole lot faster than you might think.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at how war is already changing right now. Then we'll get really clear on what these new weapons actually are. We'll dig into why they're being built in the first place, explore the incredible risks, and then wrap up with a huge global debate about who, if anyone, should be in control of all this.
All right, let's start with what's happening on the ground today, because honestly, this stuff sounds less like something from a history book and more like a news report from the future. Just listen to this quote. This is from a Russian soldier in Ukraine. It's so powerful. I mean, it paints this wild picture of a new kind of war where you're not fighting another person, you're fighting a swarm of machines. This isn't a prediction anymore. It's just a fact. Unmanned systems, drones, robots, they're all being powered by smarter and smarter AI. And they are actively reshaping conflicts all over the world as we speak. And this is just how real it is. We're talking about drones like the Soccer Scout that can literally go out and find dozens of different military targets all by themselves. We're seeing the first ever ground missions fought entirely by robots, no humans on the front line at all. And that number, nearly 2 million drones built in just 1 year, that's just a mind-blowing scale. So, all this stuff brings up a really big question. What are we actually talking about when we use terms like autonomous weapons? Or, the more famous term, killer robots. Okay, the most important words here are right at the very end, without direct human control. That's the key. That's the line in the sand. It's the moment we hand over the authority to make that final, irreversible, lethal decision to a machine. And this chart really breaks down the difference perfectly. Think about a regular remote-controlled drone. That's automated. It's a really sophisticated tool for sure, but a person is still pulling the trigger. An autonomous system, though, that's an agent. You basically give it a mission and it goes off and figures out how to do it, including who to target, all on its own. The security expert Paul Scharr has this great analogy. It's like the evolution of cars. We didn't just jump from a Model T to a fully self-driving car. We went step by step. First came cruise control, then lane assist, and with each step, the human does a little bit less. Well, militaries are on that exact same path. So why? That's the big question, right? Why are the most powerful countries on Earth in this mad dash to build these things? Well, it really all boils down to one single critical factor: speed. This is the military logic in a nutshell. It's this idea of a battlefield of singularity. The fear is that war is just going to get so fast, so complicated, that having a human in the loop isn't an advantage anymore, it's a liability. You become the slow, weak link in the chain that guarantees you lose. I mean, just look at this. Humans react in milliseconds. A computer reacts in microseconds. That's literally 1,000 times faster. Now, when you're talking about a hypersonic missile coming at you or a giant swarm of enemy drones, that difference in speed isn't just a small edge. It's everything. So the reasons just stack up. You can act faster than your opponent. You can deploy machines on a scale that humans could never, ever match. And then there's that last point, that simple, intense fear. If your enemy is developing this stuff, can you really afford not to? That pressure is absolutely enormous. But let's say you do it. You succeed. What happens when you hand the keys to the most powerful weapons in the world over to an algorithm? Well, you open up a Pandora's box of completely new and frankly pretty terrifying risks. A big fear among experts is something called a flash war. Think of a flash crash on Wall Street, where algorithms cause the market to tank in seconds, way too fast for any human to stop it. Now, apply that to war. A minor skirmish could spiral into a full-blown global conflict in minutes or even seconds with no off switch. And these dangers go deep. You could have an AI just make a mistake, misread some data, and start World War III. These systems can hallucinate threats that aren't even there. And what happens to us, to our own humanity, when we outsource the act of killing? Not to mention, if we train these AIs on bad data, we could accidentally create algorithms that systematically target innocent people. And look, this isn't just theoretical. We've already seen complex systems fail.
Back in 2003, the Patriot missile system, which had human oversight, by the way, was involved in friendly fire incidents. Now, just imagine an accident like that, but not with one system. Imagine it with thousands of interconnected AIs, all operating at machine speed. The consequences could be catastrophic.
So this all leads us to maybe the most important question of all. Can we even control this technology? And maybe more to the point, should we be trying to, before it's too late to go back? The good news is the world is paying attention. This isn't some niche topic nobody's heard of. The international community, from activists all the way up to the UN, is trying to figure this out. The problem is the clock is ticking, and getting everyone to agree is, well, really, really hard. And look at this number, 164. That's how many countries voted for the first UN resolution on this topic. That shows a massive global consensus that, hey, this is a serious problem, and we need to set some rules. Pretty much the whole world agrees we have to do something. But here's the catch. While almost everyone agrees we need rules, the major military powers, the ones who are actually building this tech, like the US, Russia, and China, they are all currently against an outright ban. They're stuck in that same old trap. They're terrified of being the one who falls behind. And so here we are. After all the technology, all the strategy, all the politics, this huge world-changing issue really just boils down to this one simple but incredibly profound ethical question. And it's a question that we as a species have to find an answer to before the technology just goes ahead and answers.